Kaeden, have you heard about the Grinch Christmas sermon series? It's wild. I saw a couple, one guy dressed up like the Grinch, green face and everything, and preached. I'm like, what in the world? And then I saw another one, a lady went up there with the Dr. Seuss story, preaching about how the Dr. Seuss story about the Grinch is is can be compared to the Christmas story about Jesus. And she's like,
That's not how that works.
how did we get this far? We'll talk about that. Today our text is going to be Matthew chapter 6, verses 1 through 4. And what's going on here, Jesus is talking to the people on the mountain, called the Sermon on the Mount, chapters 5, 6, and 7. It's one of my favorite parts of the Bible. And what he's doing is he's telling them, don't be like the religious leaders. The religious leaders in the days of Jesus were not really the best. They were hypocritical, and I'll talk about that in a minute. The religious leaders were not setting the proper example for the people. And Jesus is trying to tell them that. He's trying to say, don't do what they do. Instead, Jesus tells them what they're supposed to do. Do you think that some churches have people that don't set good examples? Yeah. Um, so let's go ahead. Caden, can you read this first 4 verses?
Beware of doing your righteousness before men to be noticed by them, otherwise you have no reward with your Father who is in heaven. Therefore, when you give to the poor, do not sound a trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues, as in the streets, so that they may be glorified by men. Truly I say to you, they have been rewarded in full. But when you give to the poor, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving will be in secret, and your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you.
Okay, very good. Thanks. So I'm reading from the Legacy Standard Bible. That's the one that John MacArthur was um, part of funding. He didn't translate it, but he was the one that kind of got that started. But anyways, in very first verse, you might think, hey, there's something weird here that when he read that. If you read the King James Version or the New King James, there's a different word here. It says, beware of doing your righteousness. In the King James Version, it says almsgiving or charitable giving. And I'm going to tell you why. Real quick, uh, it's not that the new versions get it wrong. It's just the new versions have a different Greek source text. The King James Version uses the 1598 edition, what they call the Erasmus edition, which is really not. It's the modified version of Erasmus, but people that don't know any better will say that's the Erasmus edition. So the 1611 King James Bible comes from that 1598 Greek source text. So the one I read now, all the modern versions, if it's not King James Version, it, it is translated, the New Testament, or anything except the King James Version, is translated from the modern Greek, which originates back to the 1880s with people named Westcott and Hort. You ever heard of Westcott and Hort? They're scholars that came back and uh, researched the Greek text and the manuscripts, and they realized that we're missing out on a lot of good manuscripts. So whatever they had back in the 1600s, 1500s, we have more. So you would think that's better, right? That's better. So a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people, oh no, that's not good. Maybe one day I'll do a Greek text show where I'll just come up here and do a Greek text show. But anyway, so real quick, just so we get this clear, if you don't like this, that's fine. If you want to comment that you don't like this new version, that's fine. I like your comments. Uh, so in the Greek text for the King James version, the 1598 text, the word is eleemosinin, which means almsgiving or righteousness. So it says, beware of your doing your eleemosinin. That's where you get the almsgiving or righteousness. Now in the updated text, the one that for the last 140 years, and there's 4 or 5 different versions because they keep finding more manuscripts and they're making new discoveries. So the Greek text keeps getting better. You say, wow, They shouldn't go messing with the King James Bible. But the bottom line is what we have now is better than what they have. So the word in the New Text is dikaiosune. And beware of doing your dikaiosune, which is righteousness. That word dikaiosune is righteousness. So I like this better. So we'll get on here. So before we do, if you're watching this video, please
Like, subscribe,
like,
comment.
thumbs up. You know what we want this time? We want comments. And if you don't hit the like button, comment. We want to know what you think about this video, starting with what I just read. If you don't like the fact that I'm reading a new version and it has a different word, let me know. Because I need to know that. I need to know what you're seeing, what you're hearing. That way I can make a show about it. So we're here for you. We want to keep it real. Keep it real for Jesus Christ. Because a lot of you out there, it ain't been real for you. You've been given a false Christianity. And your people that's been leading you have not been leading you correctly. That's what we're talking about today. People are doing the wrong thing. So it says here in verse 1, I'm reading out of the newer versions, Legacy Standard. If you read NASB or NIV or what's another one? Christian Standard. Yep, CSB. Yep. They still have the same thing. They have this dikaiosune. All the newer ones have dikaiosune. So beware of doing your righteousness before men to be noticed by them. Otherwise, you have no reward for heaven from your Father who is in heaven. You're going to get the CSB out? Okay, good. So Jesus says, beware of doing your righteousness before men. He said, when you go to worship, and at that time, the temple or the synagogue, when you go to the place of worship, which is what we call the church, when you go to the place of worship, you go there to worship God, right?
Yeah.
You go there to put on a show so people can applaud. Yay! That was such a good song. I just love it when you get up there and sing.
You shouldn't be doing it for that reason.
Shouldn't be doing that for that reason. That's right. Is it wrong if I went up there and sung and somebody said that you did a good job? Is that wrong?
No.
No. But that shouldn't be why I do it, right?
If you're seeking that, if you're like, I'm going up there for the applause. I'm going up there for the
Get paid.
yeah.
Get paid. You know? That's wrong, right? It's the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I think, and it's even preachers, man. Preachers, they want to get up there and they'll preach the Bible. They know the Bible, but they kind of spin it a little bit. We're not spinning the Bible. I'm teaching it like it is. They want to spin it because it makes them look smart. It makes them look smarter than they are. And churches today have gotten so far away from teaching the truth that it's less about worshiping God, but it's about making themselves look good. And Jesus is saying, don't do that. And why does he have to tell these people in his time, don't go up there being self-righteous in order to look good in front of men? Why do you got to tell them that? Because that's what they were doing. That's what the people were doing. Maybe not the people right there on the mountain, but maybe the people they were listening to, the religious leaders, scribes, the Pharisees.
Kind of like how they have it now, making signs to like caution signs, like don't do this. That's because someone did it.
That's what Jesus is caution. That's his caution signs. Good, I like that. Good. So, how are some ways that people today play church in order to please themselves or make themselves look good? The singing thing, you know.
I know this kind of sounds bad, but going into things.
What's that?
I showed up to this, so I should be rewarded.
Oh yeah, I was there. Did you see what I did? Man, I taught them little kids in Bible school. Yeah. Or how about how we modernize churches? We try to make the church look like the world. Like a guy going up there dressed up like the Grinch. You can YouTube it. YouTube pastor dresses up like Grinch and preaches. YouTube it. You can, I'm telling you. If you like that, I want to hear you. Tell me why you think it's good for a pastor to dress up like the Grinch and preach. Or a lady pastor. That's just wrong anyway. Lady pastor. Wrong. Hey, and they probably don't like it. If you like lady pastors, let me know why. I'm telling you, the Bible don't say that. The Bible don't like lady pastors. Wrong. Uh, but why would a lady pastor, which is wrong to begin with, and I'm talking in circles, but anyways, I gotta move on. Why does a pastor think they gotta sit up there and read the Dr. Seuss book about the Grinch in order to preach a sermon about Jesus?
Yeah.
Are they wanting to please God? Or are they wanting to please the people there? It makes money, don't it? And I heard that some of these Christmas services, they have like a fake ropes hanging down, or kind of like the, what do you call it, the where people jump down from the ceiling with the rope or whatever. They had a Santa Claus sleigh tied to them cables, and they just, I crazy.
That's just
Christmas musicals in church. I'm not talking about singing Christmas carols and the baby Jesus story.
that's different.
I'm talking about Santa Claus stories.
That's different.
Yeah, you want to do a baby Jesus story and sing
That's
Christmas carols?
fine.
That's good. But they're not doing
But
that. They're doing Die Hard reenactments. Bruce Willis Die Hard reenactments. Lord have mercy. And they're doing the Grinch reenactments and Santa Claus reenactments.
if you're coming down
And
off the
ballet,
rafters,
Christmas ballet in
if
church.
you're coming down from the rafters, here comes
Yeah.
Santa Claus. Here comes
Yeah, they
Santa
were
Claus.
doing it.
That's not. Well, it's not. Church
So
is
let me move on. It says, therefore, when you give to the poor, he's talking about, he's going to list, and we're going to do 2 parts here, maybe 3, because we got to do fasting too. Today we're going to talk about giving to the poor, and I call it fake Christianity. So what Jesus is saying here in chapter 6 is fake Christianity. Jesus is outlining fake worship. Now we call it fake Christianity. Back then it was called fake worship to God, fake Judaism, or whatever they saw it back then. When you give to the poor, do not sound the trumpet before you. So why does Jesus say, do not sound the trumpet before you?
because that's just showing that, hey, pay attention to me. What
Yeah.
I'm doing.
But why did he use those words? Do not sound the trumpet.
What people did.
Well, that's what they did. Yeah. They would go to the temple and they would give their money and you go, look at what he did. Wow. He just gave their
$5.
money. Yeah.
Woo!
I remember when that poor widow lady gave that little mite or whatever it was, and they said,
All
"Oh,
she had.
that's all she had." You know what? She gave all she had
Didn't
because
sound a thing.
yeah, they didn't sound no trumpet for her. They scoffed at her. Look at her. She just gave a little bitty cent. But she gave all she had because she thought she had to. She was pressured into giving everything she had, which we shouldn't be pressured to do that. That's what the religious leaders did. Look at how good I am. Sound the trumpet. Wow, everybody look at him. Wow. He's good. We don't do that today, do we?
Okay.
Churches do that all the time. They shouldn't. But when you give to the poor, go ahead.
It's kind of like the same thing when you're like out at a mission trip. We
Mm.
had 15 people saved tonight.
Yeah. That's what
We had
69.
on our way back. We had 2,200 people get saved.
Yeah. And big fancy speaker showed up for our revival. We had 600 people. 600 people. Sunday we had 200.
It, it doesn't matter. The numbers don't matter,
But it looks good, don't
but
it?
it looks good. Makes it look good.
Man, it's exciting.
Makes the
We had that
pastor.
big fancy speaker. Everybody was there.
It
Yay!
makes the pastor look good. So I'm the best at this because I had this many people saved that night.
All right, we're meddling now. When you give to the poor, do not let your left hand know what your right hand's doing. So basically, what he's saying is, um, what he says, and you give in secret. Give in secret. So I give to my church. Um,
Okay.
do I need to tell you how much I give? No. Man, I just gave $1,500. That's pretty good. I mean, it's been tough trying to pay the bills and and saving for a vacation, but God's gonna be pleased with me for giving that $1,500. We're gonna be blessed. God's probably gonna say, "You just messed up, son. I don't want that $1,500." Stupid. Yep. What if did you give your offering day? Yeah, I did. How much? Well, wasn't much. Uh, I'd rather not say. and it was probably, you know,
That's all we had.
that's all I had. I think God would probably bless the one that gave $5. That's all he could give, and the guy that gave 1,500 and told everybody about it. So no matter what you do, no matter how you serve God,
What's that?
uh, don't be don't be self-righteous about it. Self-righteous means
Be
I'm
humble.
making myself righteous. I am telling everybody how good I am. Show people how good you are. I don't need to. If you gotta,
Actions speak louder than words.
That's right. That's right. If you gotta tell somebody
That
something,
doesn't mean anything.
you're probably not doing what you say. You know. Uh,
But if you show them what you're doing instead of saying it, easier said than done. There.
yep. Then when your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you in secret. Uh, then he says, the I missed something. Oh my goodness, I missed the most important part. It says when it says don't sound the trumpet, that's what the hypocrites do. Verse 2. The hypocrites do that in the synagogues and in the streets, so they may be glorified by men. And said they have their reward in full. So if the hypocrites putting on a show in front of men, is God going to reward them? No. But they're getting the reward. They're getting the reward from the men. Yay, that's the reward right here. Yay, good job. Yay, that's the reward. That's the reward. And that's all they're going to get. And they're not going to get blessings from God right now. And chances are they're probably, and Jesus used the word hypocrite. I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. And we're going to wrap it up. But chances are the people, let's talk about Christians, the people that do things to be noticed or to be seen or brag about what they do for God at church or whatever, God's probably not noticing that.
No.
God probably doesn't recognize that.
He's like, I see you, but you're not doing what I want you to do.
Yeah, and if
So
he even
I
sees
didn't
them.
see it at all.
So yeah, there's a good chance that if that person is a true Christian and they're just not living like they're supposed to, God's going to get a hold of them and they're going to change. They will change. I've been there. I know that because I've been in a situation where I wasn't doing what God wanted me to do. God changed me. But the ones that don't change, they keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. God ain't looking at them because they don't belong to God. So their reward is not with God. And when they die, their reward is not going to be what? Eternal life.
No.
They're not going to have eternal life because their reward is going to be here on earth because that's what they're seeking. If you're seeking earthly approval, that's what you get. Now, Jesus used the word hypocrite. You know what a hypocrite is, Kaeden?
Different meanings. One meaning that the one I know best is telling someone not to do it and you do it yourself.
Yeah, it means you're fake, you're lying, which is a good application for that. But in the Greek, it's almost the same word in the Greek, a little bit different. Hypocritus. Hypocritus goes back. This is a cool story. This is good. And when you hear this, the explanation of what hypocrite means in the original Greek, you're going to say, that's it. That's why Jesus said this.
Hypo is over, or no, it's under.
Under. And so when it's like an underperformer. So when
Yeah.
Jesus was saying the word hypocrite, the word hypocrite goes back to the ancient Greeks in the theater. A hypocrite is an actor that put on a mask and they went out on stage to perform. And the people were like, hey, they're acting out a drama, the Greek dramas, the Greek tragedies.
Yeah.
And they had the mask on. So they are pretending to be something they're not by their look and their actions. So when Jesus called these religious people hypocrites,
They're calling them actors.
Calling them pretenders, actors, pretenders that they're trying to be somebody they're not. He doesn't say that you're a bad Christian or you're a immature Christian. You're trying to be somebody you're not. So when Jesus called those religious people hypocrites, he was saying you're not a true believer in God. Hey, you don't like that? Let me know. You don't like what I just said. That when Jesus called these religious people, religious leaders, hypocrites, he's saying they're trying to be something they're not, which is God's big people. The people that were hypocrites were not the people that represented God, and God didn't hear them. God didn't see them. God didn't see their actions. So they did not get rewarded by God. They got rewarded by the men. So it's pretty powerful, ain't it?
Yeah.
Uh, so next week we're going to look at the verses
5.
6,
We're
yeah,
gonna do
5
5,
through what the Lord Prayer in
15. No,
15.
it's 13.
Yeah, and we'll finish we're talking about the forgiveness because when in Lord Prayer you ask for forgiveness, but you can't forgive.